When it comes to fashion, a lot of people say we're pretty much at the pinnacle of fashion, and every new concept is simply a recreation or innovation of previous concept. While that's up for debate, I think we can all agree that the same cannot be said for technology. I think we're just getting started, and that especially shows in the automobile world. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. As electric cars are taking over the world, speed records for cars are being broken every year. Flying cars have already been used in Dubai. We also have autonomous driving. While these cars are pretty much making the headlines, there are other cars that pretty much had us holding our breath. These are the top 10 strangest cars ever made. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now, let's go. In number 10 on today's list is the 1974 Vanguard Sebring city car. 1974 would probably be remembered for other reasons in the United States. Muhammad Ali and the famous Rumble in the Jungle match, the Vietnam War, and the Watergate scandal. President Nixon became the first and only president in history to resign from office, and the opening of the World Trade Center as well. While different people may remember that year for various reasons, for Bob Beaumont and the Sebring Vanguard family, this was the start of something new. Their invention, City Car, the first electric car in the US. Prior to that, electric cars were not really more than golf carts. The 1973 OPEC oil crisis birthed the necessity for this car, but unfortunately, it couldn't meet up with expectations. The exterior left much to be desired. Using a 12 horsepower motor and a 72 volt battery pack, it had a top speed of 40 miles per hour and a range of 40 miles. Bob Beaumont & Co. produced 4,000 units of the car, but unfortunately, they filed for bankruptcy 3 years later. It's safe to say this was pretty much a glorified golf cart. Number 9 on today's list is the Vision Mercedes Complex. How do you make a car list of any sort without Mercedes? Well, it's actually quite impossible. We tried. We know the Benz family for automotive excellence in concept cars and everything in between. But this car was perhaps one step further into the storage realm. Mercedes isn't short of inspirations. You'd remember the AVTR Biomachine concept car was inspired by the highest grossing movie of all time. For the Simplex though, they turned to where it all began in 1902, the first Mercedes car, the Mercedes 35 PS. Inspiration and homage. The round shapes, rose gold accents, open roofs and large wheels surely made this car as strange as it looks. Reminiscing that historic car race week in 1901 back in Nice, the two-seater benches for this retro racing concept car are handmade for Chesterfield quilting. And just like the good old days, the steering rod grows out from the floor. The control design of the Simplex is a blend of mechanistic beauty and digital luxury, as the UI only shows precise information to the driver on its instrument panel. This gives some kind of goosebumps as you're driving in ages into come, inspired by ages past. While concept cars give us a peep into the future, the Simplex's retro feel takes us right back to the past. Like the AVTR, there's a snowball chance the Simplex will make it to the street, but you never know. By the way, did you know Carl Benz, who's the father of automobiles, received the world's first driving license? We can be sure he's driven us right into the future of cars. 8th on today's list is the 1961 AMPHICAR. If you've been to Disney World in Florida, you probably know this car by its famous moniker Model 770. Yeah, Boathouse fans. During a 7-year period between 1961 and 1968, the world saw one of the strangest cars of all time. Its original design, the Volkswagen Schwimmwagen, was conceived by Volkswagen as a Nazi military vessel during the Second World War. World War II also gave us the Humvee, which is today's Hummer Jeep. After about 4,000 units and decades later, the AMPHICAR is still the most mass-produced civilian amphibious car of all time. The AMPHICAR can reach top speeds of 7 miles per hour on water and 70 miles per hour on land. That's where it got the name 770. I know you're probably wondering how the 1,738-pound car was able to stay afloat on water. Heavy-duty, rubber-sealed doors that prevented water seepage did the trick. That, of course, determined the ability of the AMPHICAR to stay afloat. Well, there were some more pieces of engineering. The producers used twin nylon propellers and enabled the propellers to work both independently and simultaneously when the car was on land or water. President Lyndon B. Johnson famously owned one of the AMPHICARs. The 36th POTUS famously used the car to have fun and make jokes with his guest. Back then, the AMPHICAR was also used for emergency rescue services, but with wear and tear 5 decades on, that would probably be improbable now. With the current obsession with flying cars, do you think we would ever see a civilian production of an AMPHICAR again? Or will it simply remain a Walt Disney item and World War relic? Let us know in the comment section down below. In 7th today, we have the 1962 PLP-50. This car holds the world record for the smallest roadworthy production vehicle. Although only about 50 P50s were ever made between 1962 and 1965, the PLP-50 resumed production in 2011. Originally made by Peel Engineering Company on the Isle of Man, the microcar was famously driven by Jeremy Clarkson on the famous auto show Top Gear. In a classic example of being small but mighty, at about 85 miles per gallon, the PLP-50 is one of the most fuel-efficient cars on the planet, reaching a top speed of about 40 miles an hour. The P50 weighs just 130 pounds, so you can literally drag it around like a tyre of a truck. The interior is quite simplistic, and you'll be needing only a shifter and a speedometer. By the way, there's not much room for a wife or kids. And in at 6th today is the 1959 Cadillac Cyclone XP74. The XP74 gives a rocket feel, at least rocket from the 50s, as well as a stone-cold look. The 50s were an era of space exploration, with the first trip of a dog to space being made by Leica in 1957. Make no mistake, at the time the XP74 was quite futuristic. The Dagmar headlights, shaped like an ice cream cone, features a safety radar-based anti-collision system. The 2-cylinder V8 engine generates 325 horsepower and reportedly reaches a top speed of 110 miles an hour. The roof of this convertible is coated with silver for protection from UV rays, and it has sensors that automatically shut it down when it rains. Looks like a perfect fit for a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? And in number 5 today, we have the 1956 BMW Isetta. This car looks more like some cartoon car or some colourful Easter egg. With BMW nearing bankruptcy in the 1950s, profits running low, the Isetta brought hope back to the franchise as one of the most iconic and strangest bubble cars. They were right. In 1956, with the help of aeronautic engineers Ermenegildo Preti and Pierluigi Braghi, who designed the car, BMW sold over 160,000 units of the Isetta over the next 6 years. Quite similar to the PLP-50, the Isetta is another strange car, and we'll probably never see anything like it anymore. The 2-seater microcar initially had 3 wheels, but was adjusted to 4 wheels due to frequent rollovers. Now, that's pretty weird. 4th for today, we have the 1953 General Motors Firebird 1 XP21. Even if you have no magical powers, or you cannot read minds like Professor X, you can easily tell that this car was designed by someone obsessed with jets. From the wings to the shape, it pretty much looks like a rocket, missile, or jet. In 1953, the Firebird was the first gas turbine automobile ever. Its Whirlfire turbo-powered engine was capable of 370 horsepower and a turbine speed of 13,000 RPM, running at a top speed of 200 miles an hour. The engine expels a whopping 1,250 degrees Fahrenheit of jet fuel as it blazes through. No bonnet was used for this car. At the time of production, only about 2/3 of people could ride this car, and I guess you know why. Now into the top 3 today, we have the Cadillac DeVille. Cadillac is here again, with the world's fastest aqua car. While the AMPHICAR focused on keeping out of water, Cadillac said, well, let's be in it. And that's how we have the world's fastest motorized bathtub. It's watertight, its fiberglass tub includes working jets, and all its controls are done by hand. Originally built in 1986, in a 6-year project, the DeVille features a marine throttle control, recoup of wasted heat from the engine, and a trunk spar pump. The Cadillac team has more plans for the revamp of DeVille, and it will soon be hitting racing tracks. With a top speed of 50 miles an hour, there's a lot of work to do, so keep your fingers crossed. Number 2 for today is the BMW GINA Lights Visionary. What BMW had in mind was to provoke innovation and to challenge the narrative from the conventional car design, with GINA standing for Geometry and Functions in N Adaptations. Yes, the idea was to ensure the car can adapt to various situations. The exterior of the car was designed to change shapes via the electro-hydraulic device installed under the textile fabric skin. The shape-shifting material was water-resistant, stretchable, and durable. The interior features this same design, and the features are only visible when they're needed. The headlights can be hidden or revealed by the car's unique skin, and the engine cover opens from the center of the skin. This alien-looking car is a combination of weirdness, aesthetics, and ingenious mechanics. The fact that the skin of the car gives it a unique, universal, and ubiquitous look, and again, this shows BMW Group and their amazing potential to be innovative, particularly with mobility. And the top on today's list is the Limojet. Is it a limousine or is it a private jet? Well, Dan Harris says why not both? Spending more than 40,000 man-hours, the Oregon resident took his time to develop this strangely street-legal car with side-mounted jet turbine engines after 2 years of research. The Limojet is 42 feet long and 8 feet wide. From the 18 diamond-stitched leather seats to the 28-inch Diablo wheels to the exquisite mirror floor. And of course, a refreshment center for guests on board. Almost everything is custom made. The Limojet is powered by an 8.1-litre Chevrolet Vortec B8 truck engine with 400 horsepower. The Limojet can cruise at 100 miles an hour despite weighing over 5,400 kilograms. For around $1 million, you get a limousine that looks like a jet. Certainly, this will remain one of the strangest cars ever made. It's safe to say that the 50s, 60s and 70s were the explorative era for cars, and that really formed the basis of what we know today about concept cars. Some concept cars have you drooling to ride them, and some others have you wondering like, hey, walk me through your thought process here. What do you think inspires these crazy ideas? Let us know in the comment section down below. Okay guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, we're sure you'd like more related concepts from our channel. So stay tuned for more of our videos, and don't forget to follow, like and subscribe to our family. A big thank you from us too, and we'll see you in the next one.